So with me today is Carly Osborne. Carly is our point of contact for the Washington State Employee Assistance Program and does all of their education and awareness. So welcome, Carly, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I have a very small part in today's webinar, but what I do want to talk to you about is how you access information about the EAP. Because we anticipate that, like us, you're getting lots of information thrown at your brain all the time. And so having something to reference back to is important. Our Work Life webpage is your go-to spot. You just click the tile up in the upper right-hand corner, and it'll take you to a series of web pages that not only has your information about each of the program components, your counseling, legal, financial, work life, but it also has manager resources and then like monthly resources that are released by Washington EAP. We're hosting those on our website now as well. And then I'm going to hand it over to Carly to get started. I'm going to stop sharing so you can share your PowerPoint that has the correct date on it.
Sounds good. That was something I updated this morning. Which screen? There we go. All right, so we should be on screen 2, and there it is. All right, so hello, small group, which actually makes me really happy because I don't know, there's just something really good about being able to have a smaller group because I think people are more likely to ask questions and we have the time to answer it. So I'm glad we're a small group today. I'm just going to go over some basics of what EAP is, how we started. And since we are a small group, if you have a question or anything, please feel free to interrupt and ask. You don't have to wait till the end, but I'll go ahead and get started here. So the Washington State EAP has actually been around for 52 years now. We began as a employee alcohol misuse program within the workplace. And over, the course of 52 years, it became obvious that we needed to be doing more. So we've developed and changed and evolved to become a holistic program where we help our covered employees with both work and personal issues. And it's a really great service. I'm so thankful that we have it and that we're able to talk to you about it. And then just some quick facts about us. We are a mix of state employees. I'm so excited to share this. We are now at full staff for our counselors who work specifically for EAP. And then we have the network provider directory where we have over 100 networked providers throughout Washington State and I believe 19 other states at the moment. So, regardless of where you might be stationed to work for the UW, we're going to have a counselor available to help you with that. Our main office is in Olympia. So if for some reason you were in Olympia when we start doing in-person services again, you'd always be welcome to stop by. These core hours are 7:30 to 5:30. I know we've been kind of changing that a little bit as we bring more staff on. I believe one of our intake counselors now works until after 6 o'clock. And I know they're trying to work in some Saturday hours too, which is really fantastic. We're available 24/7, 365 days a year. So we're there when you need us. Website's eap.wa.gov. We will be getting a new website, hopefully in Q2 this year, which is so exciting to me. So it'll be updated and hopefully they'll take all of my suggestions into consideration. And then we can also be reached at 877-313-4455. So when you look at the EAP, we are actually a pretty small group when it comes to state government agencies. We are 15 full-time EAP employees, and we're kind of broken down into a couple of different groups. We have our clinical staff, which includes our in-house counselors, our intake counselors, and our provider network. The operations staff, so me, our contracts manager, there's someone else who falls under that. Contracts manager, our clinical, our provider network manager. Then we also have our network providers, and then our after hours partner who is the ones who man the phone after our business hours. So if you were to be stressing out at 2 o'clock in the morning and need some help and you called in, you would be speaking to that after hours partner. And I'll explain that a little bit more in just a few minutes. So why do people come to us? They come to us for all sorts of things. We provide work-life resources, which include legal and financial consultations. We have my area of expertise, which is education and awareness. I'm responsible for doing things like presenting to groups like this. I'm also content creation for the webinars that we host. And just this year, I started bringing in guest speakers for topics, which has been amazing. We actually have one who just it came together very, very quickly, but she'll be I'll be hosting her next week. Her name is Tia Briscoe, and she's going to be speaking on nurturing and supporting Black employees in and out of the workplace on the 27th. So I'm bringing in experts who can cover topics that I typically do not have the experience in. And then again, 24/7, 365, we're here for you. And then, of course, our counseling. And counseling is always going to be that big one, right? That's usually what most people think of for an EAP. And then, I know we don't have any managers or leaders here in the group today, but if you are one, we do have some extra supports that we talk about in another presentation, but those include organizational consultation and critical incident management and response. But like I said, people come to us because they want someone to talk to. They're experiencing a stressor and they want to talk to us. So what that looks like is short-term counseling is different from therapy. If you're not familiar with the models, therapy is usually meant to be a longer-term solution where you're speaking to someone and really delving into all areas of your life. Whereas with solution-focused counseling, you've kind of identified that there's an issue. For example, I'm struggling with time management. I just can't stay on task. That's an issue, right? You could come to us for it and we would focus specifically on that. So we're not going to go back into your childhood and try to find a reason for why you are having trouble managing your time effectively as an adult. So it's a short term, you've identified a problem, we're going to help you with that. The great thing about this service is that it is not limited to just you. It is also available to those that are in your household who are 13 and older. So they get the same services that you do, which are up to 3 counseling sessions per issue. Everything is scheduled online for your privacy. All of our counselors are at least master's level. They are pretty great. They do use evidence-based assessment tools. And if you're not familiar with what that looks like, they ask questions relating to stress, depression, anxiety, whatever it happens to be going on in your life. And sometimes those questions can feel really personal. And they're not doing that because they're trying to dig for info. They're just trying to make sure that we're getting the full picture. So when we match you up with a counselor, you get to work with the person that's going to be best for you. And then, of course, referrals and resources as well. So we're not just going to be like, talk to the counselor and then go on your merry way. It's more than that. We make sure that you have the tools and resources that you need to help continue building, building the thing that makes you function at your best. So with each issue, you can see us for up to 3 sessions. Some EAPs is kind of a one and done thing. I know the one organization I previously worked for, our EAP, you got 5 sessions throughout the entire time of your employment. So if you use them in the first year, you could never come back and see an EAP counselor again, which is not effective or helpful at all. So with us, it's 3 sessions per issue. So if you had something different popping up every month, you could conceivably come see us every single month if you needed to. Same for your household members. And so what this looks like is people come to us for so many different reasons. And it's not, limited to just this list here on the screen. People come to talk to us about anything. Sometimes we've even had people reach out because they're thinking, well, maybe I could use some extra support in my life. They're kind of curious about what counseling or therapy looks like. And so I tell people we can kind of be like your training wheels because we're free. We're not going through your insurance. We have a shorter turnaround time for getting you in to speak with a counselor. And so it's just a great way to kind of test the waters and see if maybe having a support like that in your life would help. So really, whatever the issue is, you can come talk to us about it. It doesn't have to be a crisis situation either. And I think that to toot our own horn, we've kind of made this a pretty simple process. It is literally 5 steps. You go to the EAP website, you select the employee button. It gives you a link to the fill out the forms, which then takes you to another page that gives you all the information about counseling, what it's like, what we ask about. And then you have links there where you can sign up for individual counseling or relationship counseling, which is also a really great benefit because sometimes your insurance doesn't offer relationship counseling. But whichever one you select, it is an online form. There is very little information that it asks for that is required. So only only share what you feel comfortable sharing. I do like to let people know that we do ask who you work for. And it's not because we're keeping statistics. We're not going to go back to Jessica and say, oh, Darla came to see us today. We're not going to do anything like that. The only reason we ask for that is to make sure that you are an employee with one of the agencies that we work with. When you Google Washington State EAPs, we are the first one that pops up. So we get a lot of people filling out a form, and unfortunately, we are not their EAP. So we're just verifying that, yes, you're one of our clients so that we can make sure this process is nice and smooth for you. You fill out that form, you hit submit, you get an email back within 24 business hours, and it'll give you an intake number. It'll say we've received your request, and there will be a link in the email. You click the link, it takes you to a self-scheduler. And from there, you can pick the date and time that works best for you to schedule an intake appointment. The intake appointment is separate from the 3 sessions you get with the other counselor. In this intake appointment, it's about 10, 15, usually no more than 30 minutes long. And the counselor just getting the information, who you are, what's going on, what kind of help do you need? They're assessing the situation, and then they are going to match you with a counselor. And I apologize if you hear the dogs bark. Apparently a leaf just blew down the driveway. So once you've spoken to that intake counselor, what they go one of 2 ways. If an in-house counselor is available, they will go ahead and set that appointment up for you. If you're matched with one of our network providers, and that could be for any reason, like they have a specific lived experience that you share, and you want to work with them, or you're working for UW, but you're actually stationed in Ohio, we have a counselor there. So we would connect you with that person. And in that case, the intake counselor collects your information. They reach out to the provider, they give them the information, and then they have 24 hours to contact you. And from there, you meet with them via your preferred choice. Some of our network providers do provide in-person sessions, but most people are still using online platforms. Again, if you're in the Olympia area, we will eventually transition back to having counseling sessions available at our EAP office. We're just not quite there yet because they're still trying to figure out where we're going to house all the counselors. You'll meet with the counselor in that first session. They're probably going to ask some questions you've been asked before. And again, it's all just information gathering to make sure we're all on the same page. They're going to talk to you about what's going on, and they're going to work with you to help overcome that problem. A few things that I do like to share with people is, again, 100% confidential. Your employer will never know that you came to speak to us. We are governed by RCWs that say that, they're not entitled to any information like that. If for some reason you did want to release your records, there's a form that has to be filled out and notarized. So it's kind of a lengthy process. Should your family members use the service as well, they are also covered under that confidentiality. So, because we help with UW family members who are 13 and older, if for some reason your 14-year-old reached out, they're covered by the same law. So their information and sessions would be private as well. Using EAP services cannot be used against you. So it's a support. We're meant to support you here. And then a really big one, because I just recently found out that someone had an experience with this. If we connect you with a counselor and you're just not clicking with them, because sometimes it happens, especially with counseling, it can be really hard to find that person that you click with. If you're matched up with a counselor and it's not working for you, you can contact us and we will connect you with a different provider, and you'll get your 3 sessions. So if on that first session, you're like, I don't think I'm going to work, this isn't just going to work, reach out to us and let us help you connect with another person. We never want you to leave those sessions feeling like you're not being heard, or that's just not a positive experience for you. So again, that is our our steps right there. I will tell you, we have a turnaround of about 7 days. So again, you're not waiting weeks or months to connect with someone. And then again, we are available 24/7, 365 days a year. What this means is that at 2 o'clock in the morning, you wake up from that stress dream, much like my partner did last night. He has an issue he's working through at work. It was keeping him up. And even though he didn't listen to me, he could have called EAP and spoken to someone about it and gotten through that moment. With the wraparound service, this after hours service, if you're experiencing a situation that is going to cause, there's imminent danger of harm to yourself or someone else, we do tell you that that is an emergency services number, but we're there for that 2 o'clock in the morning stress dream, that 7 o'clock in the evening frustration because you can't get your teenager to do their homework kind of situations. And the steps are pretty easy. You call the 877 number, you press 2. If you call during business hours and someone answers the phone, you can be asked to be connected to the crisis on-call service, because the people who are going to answer the phone are our amazing administrative staff. You're going to speak to that clinician. They're going to help you through whatever is going on in that moment. And then if you'd like, they can take your information, send it right back to us. And within 24 hours, the on-call counselor will reach out to you and just make sure that you're okay and see if we can offer support in any other way. So it's a really great service to have for that moment where you need someone to talk to. And, I love that we have that. We also do have our work life resources, which is an extra benefit. Not everybody has access to this. So anytime an organization or agency decides to go with this, I do a happy dance because it just provides some more support for you. There are some great resources on there, things like a provider network. So if you're looking for a daycare or elder care, a dog sitter, you can find access there. There's also a savings center that, if I don't mention, someone else in the group always brings up, because apparently there's some really great savings in there. You do get free legal assistance. So it's 30 minutes with a lawyer over the phone to discuss anything that's civil. So they don't handle work issues, but things like neighbor disputes, maybe there's a custody dispute, something legal in your personal life, they will help with that. If it's determined that you need more support beyond that 30 minutes, they can connect you with a local attorney who typically offers discounted services for coming through this work-life resource. You also do have access to financial counseling. So, you want to improve your credit, you're saving for a big expense. Just last week, I joked that you want to know how to set up an account that no one can find so you can run away to Fiji when you need to. Whatever it is that you're reaching out to, they can assist you with that. But it is a fantastic resource. I'm so glad you have it. It can be accessed through the EAP site. I believe in the resources that Jessica showed, there might also be information on there. So you can connect through that site. And you have a login code, which is UW. If you ever forget it, reach out. We can let you know. Jessica knows. So you have access to it. You use that code to sign in. It gets you to that website. And you can just have fun going through it. It is a really fun site to look through. And there is also access to a free will maker. It's one download per IP address, but as much as we don't like talking about wills, we should all have one. So we do give you that option as well. Again, UW's paying for this, so use it because it's really fantastic and just nice to have another support available to you. And then we have me. Again, I cover the awareness and education, so I do a lot of outreach services. The things like the live and on-demand webinars. We started a Mindful Monday series back in January. We've been holding them live every other Monday, but they're also being recorded and put up on our website. So things like that. We just recently hosted someone from ALTSA, the Aging and Long-Term Support Administration, who came out and talked to us about all things, providing support for caring for older people within the state. We recorded that. It's on our on-demand. So, check out our website and look over those webinars. They're great for trainings. We do have a suicide prevention page. We have resource guides. There's extra supervisor tools. We have information relating specifically to racism and mental health. And then we also have our employee and supervisor newsletters and brochures and flyers that are able to be printed for you. You can print out and leave around your workplace. And we do like to bring attention to the suicide prevention and intervention page, just because it's one of those topics we should absolutely be speaking more about. Accessing this just provides some really amazing resources. You know, if you need help or you're trying to help someone else, there's fantastic resources on there. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind that we have that available. And then that is the end of the slideshow. Again, with a smaller group, it always seems to go faster. But I'm here. I would love to answer any questions you have, shed light on anything that might not have seemed fully explained.
Thanks, Carly.